Hello, Planet Earth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK. My BFF Jill 730.
My BFF Jill 730.
I'm Preston L. Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations. As always, you've made your way to the Buffy-ngton Post. Today I'll be taking a break from Buffy, and it's time to review Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 2, entitled Home. It's a good one, and I'm just going to dedicate this review to the memory of Fat Walda. R.I.P. F-dubs. You'll be missed. Here we go.
It is time.
This is not a game for slackers. There are no gimmies, no do-overs, no lifelines, no hints. You play as a team, but be ready to betray everyone to be rich. The weak of will, the unsteady, the ones who make excuses, all will leave with nothing. And if you fail, I will tell the whole world you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
So I have to say, I was really, well pleased with this episode from start to finish. There really wasn't anything I didn't like here. We, of course, have the whole Bran situation, and I was less interested in the flashbacky parts because I noticed that apparently what they were doing during Season 5 was trying to figure out how they were going to convey the children of the forest, because of course that little girl that we saw at the end of Season 4, she did not look like what we were supposed to be seeing as the children of the forest, which kind of doesn't make sense now that they've changed it, but I was interested to see the new look and character design for the children, and I really liked getting to see Hodor's past in the flashback vision that Bran and Bloodraven were having. That was really neat, but I think the scene really comes together at the end where Mira is talking to this child of the forest and explaining to Mira about how important she really will be for Bran when he does get to leave. And so I liked all the Bran stuff, and I liked that we had Mira kind of as our voice of reason, because of course this is going to make Bran a little crazy. Sir Robert Strong is fun, and I know we're not supposed to be really calling him Robert Strong. He's still technically just a FrankenMountain, but I loved everything that we saw of him. It was super creepy. I loved that the guards in King's Landing were all kind of afraid of him. You could see this visual sigh of relief once Robert Strong walked away. It was really nice. I love the way he just pounded the guy's head in. It was so crazy. I was like, yes, Robert Strong. The stuff between Tommen and Jaime was really great. The stuff between Jaime and the High Septon was really great, or the High Sparrow rather. It was really interesting, and everything that the High Sparrow said really is just bringing me back to my whole new Seven theory about how they don't necessarily have power or wealth or names, but it's about people working together and they can make complete change and just overthrow empires. And I love the whole idea. This conversation between them was really interesting, and you could see that Jaime is finally understanding what he's up against, what Cersei was having to deal with while he was off in Dorne. Is it really Dorne though? So I liked that, and I liked when we got Tommen and Cersei back on the same page, and when he kind of unloaded and apologized to her, it was really nice, and you could see that she was like, oh good, I did a good job somewhere. Sure, this one might die pretty soon, but at least he's finally trying to be a Lannister like I've been trying to teach him to be his whole life. And Lena Headey, she just does such a good job as Cersei. Cersei is one of my favorite characters. Even in the books, people hate Cersei, but I think she's so interesting. She's this woman who really believes herself to be a feminist because she feels the men always get everything and it's her job to kind of be the woman in charge. And she doesn't get that she's not really a feminist, but in her mind she is. And I love Cersei, and I really enjoyed the scene between her and Tommen. Can't believe that they wouldn't let her go to Myrcella's funeral. That was some bullshit, right? When the wildlings broke through and took out Alistair Thorne's force, it was just, oh my gosh. When one came in and grabbed the dude, it was off the chain like a freed slave. And I'm talking about you, Osha, because all the wildlings, I was just reminded of Osha. They don't play, they mean business. And so that just reminded me of Osha, and I think that what Ramsay is getting from House Umber, ? I forget who was coming to him in the preview, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to bring him Rickon and Osha, and that might change the game, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, it was just great. I loved seeing 1-1 just sling that guy around like he was nothing. It was amazing. And Ramsay Bolton, this kinslaying motherfucker. He's so dumb, he really thinks that he can hold the North with all of this backstabbing, kinslaying, like, treachery. It's ridiculous. I like that he did go and get him some Roose, because, I mean, Roose had to go. It just kind of sucks that the worst of two evils was, you know, the one to take him out, but whatever. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. He totally fed Walda and the baby to the dogs. It was sick and sadistic, and Fat Walda, we love you, especially book readers. You're so jovial and just kind of like do-do-do, and it was really sad to see Fat Walda go, so R.I.P. Fat Walda. The Sansa scene, I liked the beginning of it. I liked the interaction between Sansa and Brienne, and as I was watching it, I realized that Sansa hasn't really had, like, an older woman, or, like, any woman around her since, like, Lady Olenna, who's, like, a good influence on her. I was like, damn, girl, you really have been missing your, like, girl time, because Brienne is somebody who can talk to her about being a woman and about, you know, the expectations of her, and she says, I understand why you didn't want to run off with me in the first place, I get it, you had a lot on your mind, etc., etc., and it was just nice to see that Sansa has another female in her life that she can kind of bounce off of, because mostly just these men and these corrupt, evil women like you, Cersei, have just been slinging her around and throwing her like she's this little piece in a game, and it's really nice to see that Sansa and Brienne have this equal footing. I didn't like when it switched to Sansa and Theon. I realized that they've been through this like crazy traumatic experience together, and that can really like bind people together, but at the same time, it's like, you're really super forgiving of this dude who's like a total mass murderer, and I like that Theon was like, okay, I'm not gonna go to the wall because I don't want to be forgiven of my sins, I want to try and atone for them, but
Where are you guys? I'm going home.
I just don't see the Iron Islands welcoming him like with open arms. I don't know, I mean, Yara, sure, but we know that she's gonna be like Victoria and not Victorian, go on this whole little whatever, I don't know, but I felt like the scene between Sansa and Theon was almost a little forced. It didn't seem as natural as it could have been. I really enjoyed Arya's storyline last year in Bravos. It was kind of a slow burn, but everything that we've seen of Arya so far in these past two episodes, or these first two episodes of season 6, I mean, I guess it's fine. It feels like we should hold all of that for one Arya-centric episode almost, and I know that they don't really do like one-offs of just sticking with one character very often, but it just feels like it's too little. I feel like we could have gotten these in bigger chunks in one episode. I don't know, it's fine. I'm interested to see what's going on with Arya, of course, and her whole becoming a faceless assassin / the stranger, right? And so I'm fine with all of that. It's fine. Tyrion steals the show. Holy crap, I loved everything about the Tyrion segment of the episode. This little imp steals the show, like, anytime he shows up. He's amazing. I love what he had to say about his knowledge of dragons, and I loved his conversation with Viserion and Rhaegal when he was talking about how he wanted a dragon, and now here they are, and it's like his dreams have come true, and I liked, and you know, neither of them is white or green. They all look like brown and blackish, I don't know. So I couldn't really tell which one like showed its neck and collar to him after he unlocked the first one, but I really liked that. It was like, okay, we trust you. You are our friend. And there were funny moments in between, and I really enjoyed everything with Tyrion. There's a reason that Peter Dinklage gets top billing in this show. So Euron is here. He actually kills Balon in the show, like right there on the rope bridge, like we have read in the books. Like, is it a faceless man? Is it just the storm god? Is it, you know, Euron himself? Well, apparently the show's saying that it's Euron. Anybody else surprised at how, like, handsome Euron is? I was expecting him not to be so, you know, handsome. I was like, is that Joshua Jackson? Aren't you supposed to be over on The Affair? But whatever, I guess this is the Euron that we're getting. Interesting stuff here. I have problems with the way that they are just painting Asha Yara as Victorian, because she's the one in the books who's arguing that pine cones and rocks are like great because they mean they have land and all this good stuff, and so for her to be scoffing at it here, it kind of like rubbed me the wrong way, made me feel a little bit ishy about her, but I get it, they can't have all the characters from the books, and I liked that she was like, I'm gonna be queen, blah 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 blah. And another thing that they've changed from the books is that Aaron at this point, you know, the damp hair, he says, oh, well, you know, the King's Moot is tradition, but in the books, they haven't had a King's Moot in, like, I don't know, 1,000 years or some shit like this. It's really weird. Aaron, like, prays for a good long while and just decides that, hey, they're gonna have a King's Moot to settle all of this, and so, the show mythology is making it seem like they just always have a King's Moot, which doesn't make sense, so that was my major source of contention with the episode. But aside from that, I'm excited because, hello, King's Moot and Euron and his, like, dragon horn, and hopefully all that's coming. Like, we need a dragon horn, and we need to send Yara off to Meereen and all this good stuff, and I'm excited to see where the Ironborn go from here, because the Ironborn is so interesting, and I love their religion and their whole, like, Vikingness. It's really cool. But I mean, the punchline of this episode is Jon is back, right? Like, Jon's back, he's back from the dead, haha, and
Duh.
I love the exchange between Davos and Melisandre, because these are characters who don't necessarily like each other. Melisandre really respects Davos, and she has that respect for him because of her relationship to Stannis, and she had put all of her eggs in the Stannis basket when she should have been putting them elsewhere, and I love how he gets her to do this not for her god, but for herself. He wants her to do this because she's proven to him that she herself has power, and it's not necessarily about the gods. Like, there are all these friggin' gods, but it all comes down to people and the choices that you make, which goes back to my whole new Seven theory, and I think that we can take Catelyn out of the running for Crone because we saw last episode that Melisandre's, like, super old, and she's always, like, holding out fire in front. Like, the Crone is always depicted with a lantern, and she's showing the way, and Davos says, you have shown me that miracles can happen. And so Melisandre's our Crone, and I like that she was, like, crying because she needed to do this for herself. She needed to prove to herself that her whole life hasn't been in vain. And even though at the end of the episode she doesn't believe that, we, the audience, know, like, hey girl, you did it. Like, congrats, you got our Jon back. It was really cool. And I like that there was a kind of parallel to the washing of the dead bodies that we saw in season 5 in the House of Black and White when she was washing Jon's body. I thought that was really neat, and I love that at the end of her spell she just says please, because again, she really needs this. She needs some kind of proof that her life hasn't been in vain and that her faith hasn't been in vain. And I really liked this episode. It was a major improvement, in my opinion, to the first episode. We didn't have Dorne. We didn't have to, like, just tell everybody what was going on and all that good stuff. It was fresh. It feels like we're going in new directions, and it feels like the show has finally really reached its rhythm as far as how they're going to go about fixing their mistakes. Mistakes? I don't know. And, you know, moving forward and trying to stay true to the books, but have it be much more... the pacing was better because I feel like they're not slaves to the books at this point, which I think is going to really work for the show in this season. But again, we will just have to see. It's pretty much all I've got for today. I know my videos this season are going to be really short because I've been limited to 15 minutes until, like, August, so womp womp. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comment section down below. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, question. Have a great day today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
This is not a game of the slackers. There are no gimmies, no do-overs, no lifelines, no hints. You play as a team, but be ready to betray everyone to be rich. The weak of will, the unsteady, the ones who make excuses, all will leave with nothing. And if you fail, I will tell the whole world you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Okay. My BFF. Joe? 730.